to me that's pushed the problem over to heroin, which I think you alluded to. Do you think that's true? And is this the law of unintended consequences? You push it out one way and it comes somewhere else?
Alan, that's a very interesting question. I think what you say is true. I think that as we've pushed the balloon one way, it's popped out another place. However, that's too simple. It's more complex than that. The spike in heroin has been occurring before we did anything. I mean, if you look at 2010 numbers, and you go back, I'm sure it's coming up right like this. So heroin has been increasing in this state no matter what we did with prescription drugs. I suspect that it has spiked more because of what we've done with prescription drugs. I'm not sorry we did what we did, because no one starts on heroin. And so if we can stop people from becoming addicted to opiates, down the road in a few years, those people will not become addicted to heroin. So it's quite, I think it's quite complex, and my analysis is just the best I can do based on the numbers that I'm looking at. So, and I think the other thing to keep in mind is the opiates are prescribed initially legally. And so if you can figure out how to get control of that, you can take those numbers down. And I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's easier than dealing with something that's totally outside the system, such as heroin. Heroin's totally outside the system, and we're not dealing with rogue doctors who we can shut down and pill mills that we can shut down. We're dealing with the Mexican cartel that's bringing these drugs up. And so it is a more complex and it's a more traditional fight, frankly. Again, you know, it's not going to be solved by law enforcement alone. Law enforcement is part of it. The one thing we've not talked about today is treatment. That's not what we do. But treatment is vitally important, and making sure that treatment is the state looks at this from a holistic point of view. Treatment is obviously very, very important. Who else?
What do you think of the recommendations that came from the recent House task force, and also if you could talk specifically about the House passed bill that authorizes needle exchange programs in counties?
You know, I have